From the Mumbai studios of Republic TV, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Jack Dorsey used to be CEO of Twitter, and he says that when he was CEO of Twitter, the government of India was threatening Twitter, and according to him, he claims that the government of India said that we will shut Twitter down in India, unquote. He said that the government told him, we will raid the homes of your employees. And he said not only did the government threaten to raid the homes of his employees, that the government of India entered the homes of his employees and raided them. Further, he goes on to say that the government of India called him and said, we will shut down your offices. And ladies and gentlemen, these masters of deception, these emperors of disinformation, have once again been caught lying. It is one big fat lie from Jack Dorsey. For nothing like that happened, and that's what I'll prove on the program tonight. Jack Dorsey says that we were raided. No, you were not raided, Mr. Dorsey. You're a liar, because on the 24th of May 2021, the Delhi police only visited the Twitter offices and served a notice after the company failed to furnish documents. Now, that is not by any stretch of the Dorsey imagination, ladies and gentlemen, a raid. Second, was there a shutdown of Twitter? Absolutely not. There was no shutdown on Twitter. The fact is that Jack Dorsey was an absolute disaster as a business head. There was terrible financial mismanagement of Twitter, which has forced the company on its own to shut down its Delhi and Mumbai offices. So, Mr. Dorsey, you guys at Twitter don't know how to run your business. Please don't blame the government of India for your absolute incompetence and your absolute ineptitude. That is one big lie, ladies and gentlemen, which is why my hashtag is unambiguously saying tonight, Dorsey lied. Now, what Dorsey is not saying is what we all know. This former Twitter CEO has derided India's democratic traditions, saying that he was being threatened. The reality is this: Jack Dorsey was party as head of CEO to spreading a massive lie that the government of India was planning a farmers' genocide. When hashtags such as Modi planning farmer genocide were put out, Jack Dorsey said, this is freedom of expression. He wouldn't dare to say anything like that in an American context. Ladies and gentlemen, the reality is there were circulated toolkits put out on Twitter, which were found to be made by Khalistanis and pushed by pro-Khalistani, pro-terrorist groups. Jack Dorsey would never have supported terrorism on American soil against American interests. But Jack Dorsey is a supporter of terrorism when it is used as an instrument of violence against India, which is why, ladies and gentlemen, Dorsey has lied. And finally, viewers, didn't Twitter under Dorsey in February 2016, in its location search, show Jammu as part of Pakistan and Jammu and Kashmir as part of China? Now, I know that Twitter has allowed a lot. Twitter has allowed its medium to be used against the Indian army. Jack Dorsey was CEO of Twitter when the Indian Army Chinar Corps Twitter handle was suspended. The nation was outraged. He was forced to correct his mistakes. But the issue tonight is not Jack Dorsey. The issue tonight are those people, those political parties, those interests, those people pushing the narrative who sitting in India on Indian passports are supporting Jack Dorsey. These are the same people who teamed up with him to carry out a conspiracy against the country. Which is why, viewers, don't be silent tonight, don't be a spectator, watch the debate and back us as we say, Dorsey lies. That's debate number 1 tonight. Debate number 1 this evening. A man who allows blue tick accounts to spread disinformation against India is exposed on Republic Tonight. Debate number 2 this evening. All-out fight between the BJP and its only ally in Tamil Nadu. Not good news ahead of 2024. Debate number 3 tonight. Huge Congress. Huge controversy with this Congress leader becoming a super chief minister, super deputy chief minister, holding a meeting with government officials and ministers in a private hotel. This man, Surjewala, seems to be running the government in Karnataka. And debate number 4 tonight, the Power Pack Show. It's craziness. Airfares are going absolutely out of control. What's the government doing? What's Jyotiraditya Scindia doing? That's debate number 4. And here are the headlines this Tuesday evening on the Debate Tonight.
That a man like Jack Dorsey would resort to outright lies to describe this great democracy, the Indian democracy. And Twitter has consistently, under Jack Dorsey, pretended that laws of India did not apply to it.
Government fact checks. Jack Dorsey calls his claim an outright lie, says Twitter was the one not complying all along. Opposition tries to ride on Dorsey's claims to attack the government. Major face-off over the former Twitter CEO's claims. Furious over Annamalai's comment on Jayalalitha, AIDMK puts BJP on notice on being in the NDA. Annamalai, however, remains unapologetic, says this is a style of politics, says nobody should teach me, not the AIDMK either. Huge controversy over a picture of Congress leader from Haryana chairing a Karnataka government meeting. And domestic airfares touch the sky. Domestic flights are costlier than many international routes. Who is responsible, Mr. Scindia? And ladies and gentlemen, the former Twitter CEO has given an interview to a YouTube channel and launched an absolute tirade against India. He claims Twitter was raided. It was not. He claims employees were targeted. They weren't. And he brazenly misinformed about Indian democracy. Now it's time for a fact check. Let's debate.
Jack Dorsey, the former Twitter CEO, has waded into another controversy with his remarks against the Indian government.
Well, India is a country that had many requests of us around the farmers' protest, around particular journalists that were critical of the government, and it manifested in ways such as we will shut Twitter down in India, which is a very large market for us. We will raid the homes of your employees, which they did. We will shut down your offices if you don't follow suit. And this is India, a democratic country.
These remarks have elicited a sharp response from the Indian government.
I think the fact that he's either forgotten what the history was or wants us to believe that he was a victim of some grand conspiracy is just plain outright a lie. We are absolutely clear the government of India never did anything that was outside the law with Twitter. Mr. Dorsey has to explain that lie to the people that he passed on that lie to.
It all goes back to 2021 and the farmers' protests that were happening in the country. The government of India asked Twitter to act against certain accounts that were peddling fake news, including the possibility of genocide in the country. Delhi police wrote to the then Twitter India MD Manish Maheshwari asking for some details. And that's where the story of Twitter lies begins. Maheshwari flatly refused that he was MD of the company in India and that he had anything to do or any responsibility about the content. But what is important is what's about the timings. Is it to do with Prime Minister Modi's impending US visit?
हमने कहा था अकाउंट वेरीफाई किया जाए. बहुत से पाकिस्तान से ट्वीट होते थे जो वेरीफाइड नहीं थे, जो आतंकवाद को प्रमोट करते थे. और किसान आंदोलन में हम लोगों ने क्या कहा था? कैपिटल हिल पर हमला हुआ तो उन्होंने उसके खिलाफ कार्रवाई किया, गलत है. और यहाँ पर किसान आंदोलन में कुछ जो अतिवादी लोग लाल किले पर चढ़ गए तिरंगा उतार दिया, अपना झंडा फहरा दिया और पीटा गया, तो लाल किला भी भारत की संप्रभुता का प्रतीक है।
Twitter's operations under Jack Dorsey exposes the hypocritical nature and the narrative that has been propped up and the disregard for Indian laws.
In US, when Elon Musk took over Twitter from Jack Dorsey, he had opened some files which were called US Twitter files. I think it's time India Twitter files get to be opened, and there is a lot of muck which will be seen. You will be surprised with the kind of data and details which are going to come out.
The same Jack Dorsey, who's parading as a free speech activist, had in 2018 admitted to unfair biases in Twitter's algorithm. The former legal head of Twitter, Jack, in a US congressional hearing, admitted to censoring contents of Hunter Biden's laptop.
People could and did talk about the contents of the laptop on Twitter or anywhere else, including other much larger platforms, but they were prevented from sharing the primary documents on Twitter.
The inherent biases of Twitter and their anti-India stand in the past speak for themselves. From misrepresenting Indian territory to allowing blue ticks to spreading misinformation. The opposition, meanwhile, has completely lapped up the issue.
इस भाजपा सरकार को पत्रकारिता में स्वतंत्र अस्तित्व स्वीकार ही नहीं, जो बोलेगा चुप करा दिया जाएगा।
उसने बिल्कुल ठीक कहा, भारत सरकार ने ये एफर्ट्स किए होंगे और ये कई बार खबरें चली भी हैं कि उनको नुकसान कर देंगे अगर वे बात नहीं मान देंगे, तो ये सारी चीज़ें हैं, तो उन्होंने जो चीज़ है उन्होंने बिल्कुल ठीक कही है।
But is it all to defame India's democracy and distract from the Twitter files expose? Let's debate.
So we should not take an anti-India position, Tausif Rahman. You know, Shyam Meka of the Congress, Renu Mittal, Smita Prakash, Suhail Seth and Shazia Alvi. This is a lie. And just because you hate the government, you can't take an anti-national position. This Mirjafers mentality has to stop. This Mirjafers mentality has to stop. If a foreign company says there's a planned government-sponsored genocide in India and you are going to support the foreign company, then the people of the country will be against you.
But I am not the only one who's using Twitter, Arnab. Even the Prime Minister of India is using the Twitter. And how come, after knowing everything that this is anti-government, anti-country, still the Prime Minister has its account over there? It's very confusing. It's very confusion for me.
Just 1 minute.
No, it's not about the argument. I'm quoting a very general statement.
Yeah.
I'm watching since evening. I'm just hearing that Twitter is going anti-India, anti-country, anti-such. But actually the point is Twitter might be going anti-Modi. Now that is the problem. Now who's supporting the Prime Minister and who's not, we can decide later. But the BJP has set a pattern. First, they control every possible institution.
Let me distinguish between the two.
Second, if someone go against BJP...
Sir, let me distinguish.
Tausif, you opened Shazia's countering you.
The same was the case.
Tausif.
No. Tausif,
one at a time. Shazia, let him complete. Let him complete today. No. Today I'll try a new thing. Let him complete and I'll come to you, Shazia. Just bear with me.
Shazia. Shazia ji, I was traveling. I just came India today. And I'm hearing so much bad things about India, which I am not supporting that. I was abroad. But I supported my Prime Minister because I was out.
I
never complained about Modi.
Where were you?
But coming back to India.
No, where were you?
Anyway, that's not a problem. That's not a problem.
Where?
But coming back to India,
I'm curious.
all this Twitter thing
Where were you and what bad things did you hear?
I can't say that.
Where were you and what bad things did you hear?
It's all right.
Where were you and what bad things did you hear?
At least I was not in Italy.
Where were you?
I was not in Italy. So don't worry. It's okay. I was not in Italy.
No, but where were you and what bad things did you hear?
But Arnab, whenever something goes against the ruling party of India, how come that particular organization becomes anti-country?
Okay, now,
or anti-democracy?
now we'll hear a counter.
Which is not following all the
now
protocols.
Sohail has already
now
raised his hand, so he takes.
scared.
Sohail is on the left. He's taken over. He's taken over.
No,
Sohail is on the debate. Tausif. Now Sohail's countering. Thank you. Sohail.
I don't understand.
Sohail.
How to come India ever?
I think you've raised a very important point that, people are on Twitter. The Prime Minister's on Twitter. I'm on Twitter. I'm sure you're on Twitter. That's not the argument. The argument is a former CEO of a global corporation like Twitter indulges in muckraking without any facts, without any substance, and then in hindsight says that India did not allow us to function as a free platform. B. He casts aspersion on our democracy, on our rule of law. He casts aspersion on the unwillingness of the government to allow a platform to function fairly and freely. What he lies about are the following. Number one, there is a justice system in our country, robust as it is. Twitter took course to that justice system, took recourse. They went to the Delhi High Court. After that, they went to the Supreme Court. They were thrown out. They were told that they had to comply and they had to decide. Did I interrupt you? So keep quiet and let me finish.
Yeah, let him
Decency
finish.
demands that. I don't know where you've been, but that's the rule of debating. The third is it was very, very clear that this is not, neither did Arnab Goswami say this, nor I think Shazia. We don't care whether it's an attack on Narendra Modi or not, but we do care if constantly Western media puts out unsubstantiated reports which seem to suggest that we are a banana republic when we are not. For Twitter to say what they did and to follow duplicitous and devious arguments, this is the same Twitter that crawled when asked to walk before the US Congress. It's the same Twitter that's subjugated to the laws of the EU. Are we any less? Are we not a sovereign country? Is Twitter more sovereign than us? Is Twitter special that it should not follow the rules of this country? Is Twitter different that it should be different from?
Why don't you ban Twitter? Just like TikTok.
Great argument.
Just ban it. No, Sohail, you know why?
I'll now finish, my friend. I'll finish.
Let's ban the Twitter tonight.
The problem with you young people is you don't have the aptitude or the decency to allow someone to finish their argument.
Let him complete, yeah.
Let me tell you.
Let Sohail complete.
I can outshout you.
Let him complete, Tausif. What is this?
Don't go there. Don't go there. Let me finish the argument.
No, it's not about outshot.
My argument is I really don't care if someone is against the particular ruling party. What I care about is if they are anti-India, and that I care about. I don't know which part of the world you went to, how you feel about the country.
Come on.
I can tell you that you cannot attack my country without unsubstantiated facts.
Going against Narendra Modi, it's not anti-India. Narendra Modi wants to control Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. So why don't you understand that? I want to support.
You're from Trinamool.
The thing is that
you're from Trinamool. What did Mamta Banerjee do to one Facebook
why it
post
becomes anti-country?
who arrested a Jadavpur University professor? And you're talking about democracy.
Which
Mamta Banerjee put a chap who did a cartoon in jail in West Bengal. You're talking about democracy. You're an absolute shame.
Sohail is on the debate. Sohail, louder.
Chief Peter
Sohail, louder, Sohail.
Testimony.
He's a shame. Louder. On what Tagore believed in, on what Satyajit Ray believed in. You don't give us a lecture on democracy.
Okay, we are opening the debate. Renu's on, and I need 2 versus 2 on the screen. Sohail, a minute, please. A minute.
I'm done.
Yes, Renu.
You have. Arnab, you have learned well from Mr. Modi. Just like he tried to shut down Twitter, you are trying to shut down the voices who are speaking the truth. People like us who speak on your program, you don't allow us to speak. This is what is happening in night after night. And this is what Mr.
I'll tell you on a lighter note. On a lighter note, I want to crack a joke tonight.
No, tell me on a serious note.
I want to crack a joke tonight. Do I have your permission?
No, you tell on a serious note also.
I want to crack a joke. And the joke goes this. Sohail's already laughing before I crack the joke. I wanted to turn over a new leaf, Sohail, one day.
Yeah, he's laughing.
One day, sometime in the vicinity of February 2014, I said, I must turn over a new leaf. I must let others speak. I must let others speak. So, Tausif, be quiet, yeah, be quiet. So I turned over a new leaf. I said that day to my colleagues, henceforth I shall let others speak. So I thought I will start off by having a conversation with a particular individual and interrupt him less. That individual ended up speaking for 60 minutes and implicated himself and has been trying to improve his brand ever since, Renu. So don't tell me that I interrupt too much, because when I don't interrupt, then also you're in trouble. Now you didn't get the joke. Anyway, there's the same with your leader. He doesn't get it. Same thing with your leader. He doesn't get it.
What we are saying, no, it doesn't matter. What we are saying is that if you want somebody allowed us to speak, how do you only allow those who are
Okay, Renu, now that you're protesting too much, I shall get you into a duel with Shazia, and I shall go after that to Smita, because I want to give enough time for a measured response to the emerging situation. See, Shazia, the situation. I am a right-winger because I am on the right side. As a right-winger, which means I am on the right side, I say Twitter should have been shut down. It's non-democratic not to have shut down Twitter. Twitter should have been closed down. The problem is, Shazia, your government gave them a notice, didn't shut them down. Why didn't you shut them down? They said your government is planning a genocide. All you did was give them a notice.
The whole truth will come out, sir.
No, all they did was give them a notice.
You're right, Arnab, because there was so much...
Shazia is on the debate.
There was so much criticism of our government because
you are giving them a long
it
rope.
was decent and only gave a notice and a warning.
You should
there was a
you
legal.
should not be worried about Twitter.
We followed the rule of law.
Spreads.
The fact of the matter is, I want Tausif to answer this. Tausif, would you have Twitter use hashtags like Indian government plans farmers genocide and watch India burn after that? Would you prefer that to happen? Would you go with Jack Dorsey when he lies that Twitter was shut down? Would you go with Jack Dorsey when he says that there was a raid? Tausif, no, I've not done. Tausif, would you go? Would you go with Jack Dorsey?
She asked
when Elon Musk says there were the 80% of the Twitter profiles are actually bots said by Elon Musk himself and the entire team. This is what is... Tausif, you don't want to answer. You don't want to answer. There is a difference between being against Modi. There is something else about following the rule of law and the sovereignty of India. Do you know what the French minister, Jean Barrot, has just said? There are European EU digital laws.
No, don't do it.
The minister in Thailand has warned
No, I can't have everyone on, please. Thank you very much. No, I'm only putting Shazia right now with Mr. Meka. There's too much indiscipline tonight. One second.
Yeah.
No, you started. No, 1 minute. Mr. Meka, please.
Tausif, you have to answer this. I want Tausif to answer this.
Okay, you want Tausif to answer this.
I want Tausif and Renuji to answer this.
Fight with Twitter.
You asked for it.
No.
When Elon, not just Elon Musk, the entire company says, and they're taking out, they're waging a war in-house against the bots. Tausif, you'll have to hear me. Was the Indian government planning farmers' genocide? Would Zubair Ahmed's alt check be used to fact check and be used against the Indian government and disseminate fake information? Should India burn?
We are talking about Dorsey.
No, that was what happened.
If you think
they used
wrong,
that. The official tweet of the BJP government was used by Twitter and was manipulated media.
Okay, 1 minute. I think you're speaking over each other. I will come back to you in a minute. I'd like Mr. Meka to come in. Mr. Meka and Smita on the debate. Allow me. And Tausif, that's bad. I started with you, but you don't know when to stop, you know. 1 second. You're not letting anyone else speak. Now, Mr. Meka, the fundamentals are this. The reality is, was Twitter shut down? It wasn't. Why are you supporting the lie? Was there a raid on Twitter? No, there wasn't. One Delhi police constable went and said, I want to serve a notice. Where's the raid? Where's the raid? Our employees are not being allowed to work. Where? There was only a summoning to the Twitter India MD over the manipulated media tags given to certain tweets. So the Delhi police said, give us information on that. Was there a shutdown of Twitter? No, Smita. Twitter sacked its own people because of financial trouble globally. Nobody shut down Twitter. So I don't know. My only question tonight, and I want to ask this to everyone watching tonight, I want to ask this question. If you have a problem with a political leader, should you allow anyone to spill dirt over your country? Is that allowed? And that is my only question which I am asking everyone who is supporting the Congress and the opposition people tonight. Smita is on the debate right now. Smita, you know the fundamentals of this issue. You've dealt with it. You've debated it in the past. You've seen some vigorous support, Smita. Some really vigorous support for Jack Dorsey today. An unknown person. I don't know what for. What is the reason? What is the background for this? I don't see. But they made him some kind of a supernatural figure, some kind of a Marvel comic superhero who is going to save India from Narendra Modi.
Yeah, see, like you, and I too have an issue with Indians who want to think the worst about themselves, about I'm getting an echo, about themselves, about their systems, about their democracy, and believe in some billionaire who, and without even having a mild bit of skepticism about what he's saying, about what could be the motive behind his breaking his silence now, after 3 years, when he's no longer on Twitter. So he's no longer CEO of Twitter. Maybe this has something to do, I just want to know this, whether it has something to do with this new thing that he's doing, this payment platform. Maybe it's not making inroads into India and he wants to strong arm India in some manner to give his platform an easy pass. And as far as, when you were talking about America, I mean, the deep state in the US, they weaponize social media platform like whenever they want. They did that in the 2020 elections. And Twitter played that game. But now they're holier than thou when it comes to India. That too as an afterthought after several years. I mean, social media platforms act as a cartel and they need to know that they cannot do that anymore in India. They cannot deplatform people. They cannot make wild accusations. They have to comply with the rules. I don't agree that they should be banned. I don't think that should be done unless they break the law. They deplatformed Trump, who was a sitting president. So what was the problem? They brought him back. Wow. And I'm not talking about Twitter now. I'm talking about when they want to, they break laws in America. And they do that with impunity and then they pay the price for it. You know, when it comes to national security and CIA turns the screws on them, they immediately fall in line. But national security of India, nothing to be bothered about. I mean, Dorsey was the single largest share owner of Twitter, and at that time his business interests allied with India, so he kept quiet. He complied with everything. The shrewd businessman he is, he doesn't talk till 2023, from 20 to 2023. Why? Because this is how he was making money. We are one of the largest users of Twitter. So now he makes his billions from Twitter due to India users. Once he's done with that, he makes these unsubstantiated allegations, knowing fully well that when white billionaires speak, the world swallows it like some vitamin pill, especially in India.
Now the question is that India hates mirjafers. Mr. Meka, don't be a mirjafar.
That's an insult.
Mr. Meka, don't be a mirjafar. Did the Prime Minister of India plan a genocide of farmers? No. No, you are being a mirjafar. The point is, Twitter allowed someone to say that the Prime Minister of India is planning a genocide of farmers. Now tell me, Mr. Meka, if someone were to say that Mr. Justin Trudeau is planning the genocide of farmers in Canada, or Biden is planning the genocide of workers in the United States,
Arnab, the farmers' protest
No, don't be a
mirjafar.
No, my question is to Shyam Meka.
Wait.
They said Modi plans farmer genocide. Was that true or false? Was that true or false? Say it as a statement of intent. Say it as a statement of intent. You tell me, was that true or false?
Farmers were on the ground,
raising their voice.
From last 3 to 4 months, they were not being heard.
Mr. Baker.
And those people who are calling it
Arnab, you started your question after 30 minutes and accused me of being Mirjaffer. Is that fair? First of all, you don't know what my stand is.
No, I didn't say you are Mirjaffer. I said never be Mirjaffer.
You are being Mirjaffer, that's what you said. Take that back.
I said don't be Mirjaffer. There's a substantial difference between the two.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for the unsolicited advice, which is not actually required. Okay, coming to the topic. See, why are we getting so worked up on this Jack Dorsey? He is nobody. He spoke his mind or his comments.
Because you seem to have given him primary membership of your party.
Oh, come on. Who said? Who said? Do you have the membership list of the Congress
Since the morning you've been going on supporting him.
India. No. We are not supporting. We are bringing this up as...
Bringing what up? Bringing a white lie up. What are you bringing up?
What do you mean?
You're being an absolute opportunist. Anyone picks up anything against Modi, you will amplify it without checking about the truth of it.
We don't need Jack Dorsey to speak about Modi. Mr. Modi is a failed leader,
and what came out of it?
Which is amply clear to all the people in India. Why do we need Jack Dorsey to come and endorse that? Jack Dorsey and his Twitter and Facebook, all these mediums
I just want to make 2 points.
Actually not the proponents of free speech. Arnab, I am the free speech purist. Be it Congress, BJP or anybody, I will stand for free speech. But why do we need Jack Dorsey to determine the discourse of India? Why are we so enamored by these Jack Dorseys and all these Western people?
No, 1 minute. Mr. Mika, you're absolutely right.
You can call me Shah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Our issue here is the following. When Jack Dorsey made those comments in an interview, the Congress party to which you happen to belong and which is a venerable party of our country, all those people said, see, Rahul Gandhi said there's no democracy. Now even Jack Dorsey is saying.
Correct.
As if Jack Dorsey is the gospel to... Mr. Mika, just let me finish now. You're a senior person. You know, if you people start interrupting, then what will the young people in this country think?
I'm not interrupting.
So here's my thing. Jack Dorsey makes the comment, Congress Twitter handles go berserk, saying, see, we told you so. Now even Jack Dorsey is saying, as you very rightly said, you know, being an intellectual that you are, that you do not support all of this because you're a free speech purist. But free speech doesn't mean fabricated speech. It means free speech, the freedom to speak with facts and knowledge, not the freedom to fabricate and then put it on everyone's head. Our argument is very simple. There are times when you stand for the nation and there are times when you stand for a political party. When Jack Dorsey says what he did, he's actually maligning an entire nation which you and I belong to, irrespective of which political party. He's also maligning our democracy, of which only one pillar is the executive. He's maligning our judiciary. He's maligning our services. He's maligning every common Indian. That is objectionable. That even you as a member of the Congress party will object to, because you are the grand old party.
Holding a torch for this government.
Now again, you know, she
who hold a torch for whichever government is in power. How do we do it? How do we do it? It's quite an art.
It's quite an art. So that's where we are saying. We are not saying the Congress is saying something wrong.
Mr. Sohail said it's quite an art.
Whose side is the Congress on?
Tomorrow when the next government comes, you will be saying the same thing in support of that government.
Absolutely.
You used to support the Congress in the same way. You wanted to go to war with Pakistan.
If the Congress does something intelligent, we will support it.
I've never done it.
But it's been so long that since they've done anything intelligent, we can't support it.
My own philosophy, my own ideology. The point is that you are doing...
Sorry, we get Shazia is also responding. One minute. Since you have been interrupted and that's the reality, I'm getting so... Shazia is on it. Shazia.
When Jack Dorsey, the former CEO of Twitter, exposes his political agenda, when he comes to India and like a wannabe woke liberal picks up a placard which says smash Brahminical patriarchy, along with some well-known activists. The picture, we have all seen that photograph. That is the former CEO of Twitter.
Shamika.
And imagine somebody like him who clearly has an agenda, mixes it all up, has all kinds of bots in the system which are trying to be weaned off by the present system in Twitter. And
why is Shazia so upset about smashing
inflammatory and inflammatory comments about Indian government which are not true.
What?
Which are not true, and I agree with Suhail. There's a
are you talking about India
or and fabricated speech?
I once
disinformation.
Just a minute. Mr. Mika, 1 minute.
You're allowed to lie.
Shazia, if I may elaborate on this. And the fact is, Mr. Mika, and where you should be very careful, if you got mixed up in your hatred for Modi, you have taken an anti-India position. And allow me on this. The fact
accuse me of anti-India.
I'm not accusing you, I'm stating a fact. Accusation, it's a statement. I'm not even accusing you. I've convicted you. Now listen to me.
Wow,
my question is, have a sense of humor. My question is, sir, that there has been a concerted, everyone's having a good time laughing tonight. I don't know what, I'm just being so straightforward tonight. My question is that 8 days before the Prime Minister of India... No, 8 days before the Prime Minister of India is to visit the United States of America, Smita, Jack Dorsey lands up on a YouTube channel to spread falsehoods against India. I don't know whether it's a coincidence or whether it is part of a motivated agenda. And I'm saying tonight, Tausif, with all sincerity, that Jack Dorsey is anti-India and you are supporting anti-India people. Rahul Gandhi on his visit was supported by anti-India people who have links to anti-India groups. Don't go so anti-India in your anti-Modi fervor. Tausif, Jack Dorsey allowed Jammu and Kashmir to be made part of Pakistan and China in 2016. You're supporting the same Jack Dorsey? He held up the smash Brahminical patriarchy poster with the members of the lobby, took an anti-Hindu line, and refused to apologize for it.
It's wrong with smashing Brahminical patriarchy.
I'm just reasonable. I'm just being reasonable.
We are proud of it.
I will tell you a simple
I don't care
thing.
what Jack Dorsey says.
BJP center is on a mission to stop the spread of misinformation. How did they allow the release of propaganda-based movie like Kashmir Files and Kerala Files?
Why are you hiding behind Jack Dorsey and supporting Brahminical patriarchy?
The most controversial claim of the Kerala
He's reading a WhatsApp forward.
Is that there are approximately 32,000 girls missing. There is no information.
Don't change the subject.
So if you want to talk about
wait a minute, Arnab, I am accusing you now. I am accusing you, convicting you straight away that you are hiding behind Jack Dorsey and supporting Brahminical patriarchy.
You are not holier
We are here to dismantle it.
If you want to say I am anti-national, I am anti-national.
You can laugh.
It is absolutely fine.
No,
because you are being anti-national.
When we dismantle Brahminical patriarchy, you can laugh.
Anti-national. If Shazia wants to say I am terrorist, it is okay.
I'd say
but
this.
It is not about being against the
I'd say this, Mr. Mika. I'll go to Smita. I need to go to Smita. No, the thing is the support to Jack Dorsey today, Smita, in my view, shows the absolute prejudiced bitterness of certain groups who want to torpedo Modi's US trip. This same Jack Dorsey had to acknowledge. Will you let me speak, please?
Mika ji, let him speak.
Mr. Mika, will you just relax?
Maligned all over the world.
Mr. Mika.
You will not accept it. Shazia Ilmi asked me
first time you are
about
not
the
allowing
genocide.
Arnab.
Yes.
What is Shazia said?
It was a farmer genocide. मार दिया गया है. मोदी ने मार दिया गया है.
Shazia.
मोदी जी ने मारा है फार्मर्स को और ये बात सच
Shazia on the
है.
left.
आज फार्मर्स की ये स्थिति है हिंदुस्तान में कि because of Modi, Narendra Modi, nothing else.
Look at you.
Shazia.
This just shows how disgusting and wild your hatred is.
The benefits, what the
just shows the visceral hatred within you.
Give me one benefit.
For a prime minister.
Narendra Modi has given to the farmers.
Just see look at the way you talk. You are supporting Jack Dorsey
What about the prime minister?
when he supports the groups in India
agenda.
which make up a story
Just
about
marketing
some attempt by the Indian government to have genocide. Just look at a sense of proportion.
No,
look at a sense of hatred. Look at the sense of the
Tosi, 1 minute.
you carry
I've
within
got
you.
to take my Motorola moment and then I'm coming back.
Look at you.
I've got to take my Motorola moment and then I'm coming back.
You need help.
And on the Motorola moment, ladies and gentlemen, I have a few tweets I want to read out tonight. And Hemangi Divecha says all those anti-nationals are culpable and should be dealt with stringently without wasting time. Thank you very much. Please, I welcome you to the Right Wingers Club. Debashish Patanayak says, yes, now Bharat is divided into two groups. One who believe in Jack Dorsey and then he sort of says something a little in terms of an expletive, which I will not read. Swaminathan S. says, Twitter was besieged with a false narrative about India when Jack Dorsey was at the helm. I completely agree with you. We have Shobha Chandla says, pre-election ploy to defame the government and hog the headlines. And Satya says, Jack the fake, the shameless anti-India propagandist is back with toolkit chapter number XYZ. Okay, right now, and I didn't make up any of those tweets in the Motorola moment.
Acts the whip on the Capitol Hill. Capitol Hill siege.
Exactly.
And Twitter caves.
Exactly.
And
okay.
what happens here?
Okay.
And what happens on our Republic Day at our Red Fort?
Yeah.
What happened? And they want India to burn? How dare they? I'm sorry. If you believe in this, it will not happen.
It's
we will
actually
never
the
allow
Madhya
people
Pradesh
like you to
Secretariat
succeed
which is burning,
and burn our country
where the
down.
BJP
We will
is
not
in
allow
power.
it.
That is what is burning.
I'm sorry.
And they didn't have the
Shazia,
resources
Jack Dorsey, form your own party.
to control that fire.
Throw out Mamata, make Jack Dorsey your leader. Jack Dorsey is your leader. No, only an Indian and somebody who loves India will be my leader.
No, okay.
Somebody who loves India and protects India is my leader.
Well, Shazia.
No, I'm sorry.
Shazia.
You are for those who want to burn India.
Yes.
Sorry, Bharat Jodo, yeah, Bharat Jodo, Bharat Todo. You are the Bharat Todo gang. You Bharat Todo people.
Yes, India is going down and our economy is going down. It's because of Narendra Modi. You have to face the fact. You have to face it. I am not like Shazia ji. I am spilling the truth. I am spilling the truth. You will not believe me.
Both.
You will not believe the fact what Narendra Modi has brought to India. Because you have become blind.
I'm sorry.
Because you want tickets from Narendra Modi.
Okay. Can I thank you. Can I get back the point that Smita raised? It's 9:45 and time to allow a second intervention. Smita raised an earlier point tonight, and Smita's point was that she said, if I may, Tausif, thank you. She said that, I don't understand why Jack Dorsey can block Donald Trump over Capitol Hill, but cry wolf over action after the Red Fort siege. To which I will then follow and say, there are some people in our country, Smita, who are pro-Capitol Hill, but anti-Red Fort. That's the only way I look at it. Who will stand up and salute the Union Jack, but don't mind seeing the tricolor desecrated at the Red Fort. They are the people who support Jack Dorsey. Smita Prakash. Smita.
I want to bring this back to a point that you had raised, that do you think that Jack Dorsey has done this just because there is a Narendra Modi visit happening to the US, and whether there should be any kind of banning? These are 2 points that were raised. One is that yes, it is possible that that what Jack Dorsey has said, not only is it going to find echo in certain ecosystems in India, but it might also result in a certain ecosystem in the US, which has got triggered after Rahul Gandhi's visit there, that they might turn up and say that here is a person who's coming to visit from India. Democracy doesn't exist in India, and you have him addressing the US Congress. So there will be people who will do that. At that point, Indians should not be thin-skinned. We should act like the mature democracy. Here too there is multiplicity of views. There too there should be multiplicity of views, and we should accept it. कि ठीक है, आपको बोलना है बोलो. The point is that your administration wants our Prime Minister to address your Congress. We didn't ask for it. You people are the one who has got him second time. The only Prime Minister to get him the second time to come and address the US Congress. So we should not be thin-skinned about the criticism that Mr. Modi will face thanks to this Dorsey comment. The second thing is, should he be banned, or should we do something of that punitive effect, take him to legal recourse? No. Every time a white billionaire comes up and says something, 3 साल पहले India में ऐसे हुआ, I was done this. There are many CEOs who will say that one comment by Dorsey and so much of publicity, I will also say something tomorrow like this, because media will pick it up and I will become somebody very big. Any publicity is good publicity. So I don't think Indians should overreact, or Indian government should overreact and slap any kind of legal case on Dorsey.
No, I don't think the government is overreacting. I think it is the Congress party which is overreacting, and certain political parties. And the issue here is, Tausif, and it's a question for you, please. My question to you, Tausif, is...
Great India and our sovereignty.
My question to you...
My problem is the opposition members here.
My question is to Tausif.
No,
Tausif, my question to you.
India. We are talking about a central government. What
the problem is I can't ask my question because you're like farmers, Ben Johnson on double dose of steroids. You need to listen to me. You need to listen to me. You take off even before I...
Who amended the Land Acquisition Act?
No, my question is, everyone on. My question is, anyone from the other side take it. Why would Twitter says we are bound by Section 230 of the US Communications Decency Act. There's something called the Decency Act. And they say we are so decent, we will not violate America's Decency Act and we'll ban Trump's account for inciting violence. But when and they say that's the most democratic thing to do. But when Ravi Shankar Prasad says kindly also comply with Section 69A of the Information Technology Act of India, they say to hell with you, you fascists. Explain this duality. I don't understand it. Someone explain this duality to me. Someone explain this. Hypocrisy to me.
1 minute. In the hearings before the US Congress, 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 the legal head of Twitter said the following. She said that yes, we had the information on the Hunter Biden inquiry, but we did not allow it to go on Twitter.
Precisely.
This is an admission of her. So Smita Prakash's point about the deep state is right.
Absolutely, bang on.
I also want Mr. Mika and Tausif.
I will.
Tausif, to understand one thing. There is no question any platform, any media organization can be against a prime minister of a country or against a leader. Everything is fine. But two things can't happen. Number one, where you malign an entire country because you hate a particular leader and you're entitled to
You can't. We won't allow it.
You can't wake up in hindsight.
Yeah.
In hindsight, everyone is...
Yeah, Tausif allowing that. Volume up.
He never said कि India के लोग खराब हैं. He never said. Sohail ji, I've been your fan. I've been your big fan, Sohail bhai. Sohail ji, listen to me.
Come on, don't patronize him.
Sohail ji, just listen to me. I've been your big fan. A big fan of yours. When I was a kid, I was being a big fan of yours. But today, what you're saying, it's not
5, 4.
You never said that the citizen of India...
3, 2 and 1. And that's it on the debate tonight, Tausif. Thank you very much. And on the other side, the other side, a lot of other interesting things are happening, like there's a fight between the AIDMK and the BJP in Tamil Nadu, most unexpected, with Annamalai saying, I'm not going to back off. And unexpectedly, it's a Congress functionary who tells DK Shivakumar, I'm chairing a Karnataka government meeting. We don't know what's happening. We also don't know how airfares are soaring so sky high. All of that in a packed 1 hour after the break.